blockchain user experience. So same thing, having fun, but split up in different teams, right? So that's what takes place in the very first class. That's like the first like 1 hour or 2 hours of the evoke experience that takes place right here, right? And then now we get into, and we've had different words about this, but I was thinking about it, and I think challenge is a better word. So we have the 4 challenges, right? So we have, you know, engage, act, imagine, communicate, right? And each challenge is like 3 to 4 weeks. And within the challenge are what I'm going to, there's the mission, right? There's the missions that are like school, and then there's the missions that we want to have that are fun, right? So maybe we say the educational missions are like their missions, and then maybe the fun stuff is quests. Just as an example, we could try that out, right? It's helpful to distinguish between the two. The missions take 3 to 4 weeks, which that's a really long time and difficult to engage people that long in a game, right? So when we have quests, we can have them weekly, right? We can have a surprise mission, and that would be a way to keep people engaged. So they're having as much fun doing memes, TikTok videos, that sort of thing, throughout the 3 to 4 weeks. As they complete like a quiz or a mission, the evidence that they submit is in a stream like Instagram, which we talked about. It's really clear to the players when they start the challenge what they have to do to complete the challenge, and then what the prize is going to be. So at the very end of the challenge, the mentors will review the missions that were completed by the players, right? And grade them, give them, basically 1, 2, 3, just like any grading in school. Based on that grading from the mentor, that determines the winner or winners for that challenge. And then that's when they get the Evo coin. So you go through, we're doing those challenges, and then you get to the global grand challenge, which is like, that's what Evoke's all about, right? Is your social innovation. It's addressing like a great big huge big issue, like sustainability, like safe water, whatever. So the teams submit their idea to the global grand challenge, and then it also is voted on and evaluated, which determines the winners. And the winners get like real money, like lots of real money. And then there's an event where everybody comes together, because during Evoke you have multiple classes, multiple schools of people participating who see one another's evidence in the Instagram feed, but they don't know each other. But they start to get to know one another because we have the memes posted, right? Um, and then in that process, they see the other ideas. And by commenting on the ideas, we're getting these social interactions. Listo? Kevin is the most badass translator ever.
Thank you, Nico. Yes. I'm trying to do my best. Thank you.
Yeah. Now you're all great. Awesome. And so this doesn't change how we're doing things, like how, where we've said, hey, here's missions, we're using topics as a way to organize them, the way we can open up the each challenge, liking, commenting, like none of that changes, right? I think this is just a better articulation of how it works. Man, so quiet.
A little bit. I don't know. I'm going to ask them if they have questions.
I
Eh,
hope I hope there's questions.
Nathan dice que todo está muy callado. Entonces no sé si de pronto hayan algunas preguntas al respecto. No, Nathan, I think. Or
Well,
is
here,
there?
let's actually, I would love to hear thoughts from each person on the team. And so maybe we can go through one by one. Um, and I just would like to know, any sort of comments on it. Like, um, hey, I've got a concern about how to implement this. Hey, I have a suggestion. Hey, this is really fucking awesome. Um, this really sucks. Whatever. Yeah.
Right. Ya, ya, ya. Nathan dice que le gustaría escuchar un comentario por cada miembro del equipo, puede ser una sugerencia, puede ser una opinión al respecto, podría decir como, hey, puedo tener algún problema técnico a la hora de desarrollar algún elemento, o yo le cambiaría esto, o esta aplicación es una mierda, o está demasiado áspera, pero algo así.
Maybe Jorge, you can facilitate going around.
Hola, sí, otra cosa que también estaba mirando era, pues como decía Nathan, que quería como para que también se pudiera usar ebook en tiempos muy cortos, pues en la hora del almuerzo o algo así que no, sí, que disponen de poco tiempo, también sería bueno pensar en eso, que lo puedan usar para distraerse en 5 minutos o algo así, o sea, que no necesariamente todas las misiones o todo lo que se tenga que hacer tenga que durar demasiado tiempo. O no sé si en vez de misiones poner otro tipo de contenido que se pueda consumir en poco tiempo. Sí, de hecho podría ser ya más, ¿cómo decirlo? Ah, sí, como minijuegos, no sé, al estilo crucigramas o algo así. O sea, sé que no tiene como mucho que ver con la temática como tal, pero igualmente se puede orientar esos minijuegos a lo que manejamos en ebook. Obviamente, digamos, podríamos pensar en que en esos minijuegos no tengan recompensas o recompensas, pero digamos, en solo dos rubíes o algo así. Que sea más como por distracción y que también sea pues informativo, así como los juegos educativos.
Y lo que dice Oscar, pues a mí también me parece chévere. Y también de pronto que puedan jugar en tiempo real. No sé si eso a nivel técnico alcancemos a hacerlo, pero que puedan jugar en tiempo real con una persona que estén al lado, por ejemplo.
Ah, bueno, yo pensaba que viendo aquí dice múltiples clases, múltiples escuelas, se podría incluir un ranking no solo por personas, sino por institución.
Yeah, Nathan, and finally, I'm agree with Jorge, Sandra, Jorge, Sandra, Oscar, and Yakai. Uh, my concern, yeah, is in terms of these missions that take so long. Maybe we have to make like little pieces or um, about it. Like I don't know, the mission is doing some research in your community, like some interviews. So we have to think like strategies to make it more dynamic, maybe. Um, and yeah, that's maybe my concern. I agree of the idea to make like activities like 5 minutes long, maybe, because one user told us like, yeah, I like the application. Maybe if I want to use it, it's like in dead times or in times where I have to wait in something else, so I can take my cell phone and play a little bit and then go on. So yeah, I'm agree with that idea too.
What else? What else? There's got to be more. We got quiet people that I know have great ideas.
Que debe haber más, que ve gente callada que puede tener muchas grandes ideas. I have one question about how like these little quests are going to be like the original book or will be apart from that.
Urgent Evoke or what?
Like these little quests that you propose us, like you have the missions, but the quests that you can achieve in 1 week. Like
Yeah.
yes, that would be like a surprise or something like you have to do.
So the here's the stuff that was sent to me yesterday from this guy who is writing the missions. So if we think in terms of missions are like they're like homework, right? They might be
Basically.
boring, right? Quests are like, holy shit, can't believe I'm doing this for school. On and quick. So, Jorge or Kevin, I just want to make sure that silence does not mean concern.
No.
And please
No.
feel free to express it.
We was just waiting for Kevin's translation.
Ah, sí. Muy bien.
Sí, digamos que la idea es eso, como tener ese, como estos quests, como aquello que es divertido y que puede ser algo que salga del esquema de un colegio, y las misiones que siguen siendo como ese grueso que se puede aparecer como una tarea. Eh, es básicamente esa es la idea.
And so, like each one of these missions, right? These are the Sunbird course units. So, how we use Sunbird for content management, right? And then the topic will say team or individual, level of difficulty, primary skill, secondary skill. So technically, the requirement is to get a course unit from Sunbird, look at the topics, display it based on the topics that are specified in the content management, which should give us flexibility. For teams, it looks like teams might be difficult from a Sunbird standpoint, but I think if we look at using player labels, then we just like label a player like team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, using our own evoke labeling system, right? Which is like, it's like Google, right? Gmail, yeah. Where I can do as many labels as I want, right? And so maybe it's like right. So I mean, we don't need the nesting, but I think you see the example of what I mean. So you can see some examples of, let's say that these are the objectives that you need to fulfill. Oh, and by the way, sorry, this is the first thing that came up when I did a Bogota search on Instagram. So this is not my fault.
No, but I think it's great.
Well, yeah, of course you do. Lo siento, Sandra. No offense intended.
Harley Davidson is a very good brand.
But actually, so what's important about this though, right, is that what do we do if players submit something like this, right? So this is actually a good point of discussion, right? So let's say in the process that, you know, this is the list of like, we want you to complete these 9 missions, for example, right? And then you go to the list of missions here and you choose the one you want to do. So there's like a plan phase, right? Let me do something.
Will be more like maybe like a market, like a shop, when you choose like all the missions you want to do first.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy, right? Let's see. Objective examples, complete. Two creative missions, earn 500 movies, 3 or better on evidence. Give 5 evidence likes. Give 1 evidence comment. Complete 10. Let's see. Complete 4 quests. Yeah. So something like this. And then we'll show the status, right? Like, as people play. So we think in terms of Oops, sorry. Right, so objective examples, you can see this list here. And this, like, the 3 or better on evidence, right? That's not gonna, you're not gonna know that until the end, right? So if we think, let's actually do this. Complete challenge, right? All once. ¿Preguntas?
Do you perdón, yo estaba traduciendo, bien preguntas.
Hey. Okay, so they understand it. I mean, so there's 2 different answers to each one of these questions, right? One is, what is the player experience? And then the other is, what do we want to support? So what to support technically is easy. It's whatever we want to put in the instructional content. Whether or not we want to clearly state what it is to the players is, as far as the amount, we just need to figure that out, right? Like, whatever we think from a motivational standpoint is going to be most effective. Yep. But what's really, it's like, you have to know what you have to do. You have to know what you're going to get for doing it. and we make it all achievable and just like difficult enough, right? And then we want to progressively increase the number of Evo coin rewards, and it could be that we give surprise Evo coin. So this is demonstrates the importance of having the Ruby tokens. I didn't realize until like last Friday that there was going to only be like 5 opportunities to earn Evo coin. So the rubies is perfect. So what I want to know are the technical concerns. Yeah. And then maybe we can go around the horn. So from a app perspective, what concerns are there? Should be pregunta por Sandra. See? Or did people want to think about it and maybe we can talk about it in WhatsApp sometime later?
Sí, pues ahora no tengo ninguna inquietud. De pronto en el transcurso del día sí tenga algunas preguntas.
So is that no concerns or questions right now?
Yeah, Nathan, yeah. At the time, Sandra don't have any suggestions, questions, and concerns, but maybe with the pass of the day, she's gonna think about it and maybe some things emerge.
Perfect. Yeah, hopefully there are, right? Like we all think deeply about what we've learned, what we can and cannot do, right? So, additional questions are expected. Yeah.
I have Nathan. Okay, it's not for technical aspect, but same as Jorge, I have one concern about how we're going to show them when they achieve a mission that they have like a possibility to win an Evo coin. It's like uh, when we make like the user testing, we're making that promise that if you make the mission, you win the Evo coin. But in that case, you're going to make the mission, but if you fill all the parameters, and if you, I don't know, if you are the best 3 of the group, you can earn the Evo coin. So my concern is about how we're going to show them the possibility of, or yeah, like the image that they can win it, but that picture not be discouraging, maybe.
Yeah. So a way to so we won't tell them after they complete a mission. We'll be like, woohoo, plus 30 points in creativity, plus 5,000 rubies, right? and another box is checked on their objective list, and they'll never finish their objective list until it gets reviewed by a mentor. So, you know, we only say like objective complete and get the Evo coin like when the winners are announced, right? 1 second. Go away.
We're going to tell us maybe a message in the, I don't know, in the panel of objectives, for example, that they are near to win Evo coins, like the information of their real estate, when if in their progress they achieve like all the things that they need in order to win it, or only omit that information, and in the end it will be like kind of a surprise. It's like the idea, or
Actually, in asking the question, Kevin, it made me think of something.
yeah, right. No, that's my question.
This will be our button. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we think about as you go through, let's say after you complete mission 1, right? You complete your first mission.
Yeah.
And then underneath it might say 1 out of 4.
Right.
And then you go through and then it's done. And then this is lit up. Right? Woohoo! Or green's better. Right? And then you got this one, and then you got this one and this one. And so actually, right, this would be disabled. And then once this is done, oops, then they can complete it, right? Like once they've done all these things. The reason why you wouldn't want to complete it yet is if you want to keep going to get more quests, to get more points, but you don't have to, right?
Right.
And so you go through, you do all these things, and then you can submit because it's complete, and then that then goes to the mentor to review. And then once the mentor reviews, then actually I got an idea. You guys ask great questions. Let's see what you think about this. So let's say you complete all these challenges, right? Then we get this. This will be like continue, and it'll go to the feed so you can look at more stuff. But what we could do is surprise. Right, and then they completed the challenge. They complete it. It's like, shh. This is a secret, but we just gave you 32 Evo coin. Right, and then it would be like, just gonna say next challenge in 4 days. And this can be like 1 day remains. Alert. So they continue. Sure, this is a secret, but we just gave you more. Even more after mentor review. You'll find out before. You'll find out at next start of next challenge. Eh. More eh. So then it goes to like, you know, the mentor webpage. And then the mentor will see the missions, not like the quests or anything like that. They can if they want to, but they'll basically see review mission evidence. Does this show collaboration? Yes. There's stars. Where's stars? I'm blind. We'll do this. Actually, we don't even want to say, we just want to say, rate this evidence having fun watching me draw. Then maybe like when they come back, right? It'll be like
That one is fun. You're stuck a lot, but it's kind of pity, so I'm going to give you some release.
or actually we could do this.
And then, for example, one parameter or is like the delivery of the activities, or sorry, the delivery of the evidence at time. Yeah,
It would be what?
uh, delivery their evidence at time to the
That's right.
mentor.
Yeah. So like they would have to I can even say like, let's say next challenge in 2 days, right?
Right.
And then we're saying that so it's like this is due, you know? Like let's just say for sake of argument that we'll say that a challenge is 21 days long. I'll just say it hypothetically, right?
Right.
Not to scale. Listo?
Yeah. And you, and yeah, I remember that we have to make like the psychology profile, no? So yeah, that will be a good time to make questions about it, no?
Yeah. And so let me check something real quick. Stand by. I gotta see when I need to do a meeting. I'm gonna have to hop off here in a minute. Ah, good. I have more time than I thought. Oh, good. You are recording it. Well done, Jorge. I was just like, shit. We should have recorded it.
Yeah, I was
Well
thinking
done.
the same, and then I see that this is recording. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I would like everyone to be really excited about this approach because it solves a lot of problems for Bob. So, one of the problems that Bob has is getting mentors to commit to reviewing evidence in a timely manner. And when we have it scheduled, it's great because we can say, hey, you need to be ready to review evidence on February 15th and 16th. And then we tell players, hey, you're going to hear back on February 17th. Having the questions that you've been doing that are fun, Kevin, and basically positioning them as quests that you can actually do at any time, you know, as a player, like while you're waiting. That's huge, because then we're engaging people over a long time frame.
Right.
It's just, you know, the burden is content, right? But it's easy to put the content into Sunbird, so that's helpful. And let's see. Yeah, this solves a lot of problems.
Also, would be like a feedback from the users, the gamers to the platform. Yeah,
What's that?
it would be also questions about or to obtain feedback from the users.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like, we can do a paper prototype of this and put it in front of people really casually, like right now, you know? Some coffee shop testing, so to speak. And then, so there's some other things that we could simplify, which is cool. I hate complexity. I should say I don't like complexity that you can't. I don't like it when you can't understand what's going on. How about that? That was just some commentary.
Yeah, I think the idea is that in general the application is complex, but the idea is to be simpler or as simple to the user as possible.
All good games are complex,
Yeah,
period. But it's like, you know, getting people to understand what's up. So one of the things that has been wrestled with for missions is the notion of having required missions and optional missions, right? But the whole purpose of having optional missions is having another way to engage people. But we can use quite that. And then that's like one more if then statement, right? Because we have, we would end up doing, here's some awesome pseudocode for you. So we would say like, we'll say if course equals mission, if course equal, well, it would be like if course equals mission and course equals optional, do this. If course equals quest, do this, right? It just gets simpler. Or you can just say if course equals mission, do this. And then the other thing that we can do is we can cut out the notion of having to choose the missions you want to do, because that's just another layer of complexity from a functional standpoint. So we can roadmap that out, right? So we can say in the roadmap, all missions required, and like optional, and select like marketplace, you said. Yeah. And then we have like new mission types, quizzes, right? Puzzles, whatever.
But we can make like midpoints. Maybe I like the idea if you put like all the missions in blocks, and you have like three blocks, green blocks, for example, that are empty, and that is specifically for that are designed for the quest or the missions that are optional. When the user, for example, they want only to select optional missions, but they fulfill all their options at time. So they have to commit to do the real mission, maybe.
Yeah, where we were talking about this, right? It can be like creative. Collaborative. And like these are not selected yet. And then you can have a nice big plus sign in there. And so then if I like, then it's like creative. Mhm. Which would be, we actually looked at something similar to that. Mm. Right, so it's like this scenario would be you're choosing the missions you want to do. And so it's not all the way filled up. So it's like I hit that, and then I choose the mission I want, and then that box would be filled in and be yellow, right? And then I would go out in the world, and as I would complete them, I could use this as a way to select the mission that I want to complete. And I click that, and then I submit evidence for it, and then it's complete. And then I can like, if I'm in here, whenever I click that, I see the evidence that I submitted, or maybe any evidence that's in response to that mission. It becomes a, so this becomes a way to navigate, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, um, and you're really good at process flows, so you would do a good job at this, but right, so it's like, um, basically, I mean, we can draw, we know how it works, right? It's like this one goes to the evidence submitted. This one goes to choose a mission. This one goes to submit evidence screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, you could mock that up pretty quick.
And for example, we
Terms.
have like the principal ability and the secondary skills. Okay, skills, first skill and the secondary skills. We can feel like the meat of a chart or of a figure when they complete a mission. Yeah. So if, for example, the principal was creativity, they feel all the figure, and the second one is collaborative. Maybe they wanna feel but the meat of the square, for example.
Yeah. Right. So it's going to go to evidence submit for that mission. This is going to go to evidence submitted, evidence for this mission. Actually, sorry, this is incorrect. Go to mission selector. All right. And then like, if we like, you know, we're scrolling down, we know we've got the other two primary skills. So these are organized by the primary skill topic, is how they're organized, right? You can then go to, sorry. Actually, we wouldn't do it that way because actually, no, we could. What we would do is, this is the longest stand-up ever. Everybody's legs are tired.
Mhm.
And all this is using Sunbird topics for
Yeah.
primary skill. Is it? And the list of accepted missions. Which, so what I was saying roadmap wise, Kevin, is that, you know, it could be that from a programming standpoint, it's much easier just to have a fixed list, you know, like 3 in each. In which case we're like, all right, cool. If it's much easier to do 3 in a fixed list, then we do that first. And then we come back later and we make it more, you know, where a user can shop and choose a mission.
Okay. So yeah, I understand. Uh, so in that order of ideas, then we're going to make like, first the list of questions maybe and concerns about it, and then we can figure it out how in terms of UX we're going to proceed. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Well, and like I would like to hear from after Sandra thinks about it a little bit, right? So the next thing that we would see after that screen, right, is mission detail, right? So it's like, um, and then there's some more lorem ipsum text, a whole bunch of text here that says more about the mission. And then you're like, so if I hit accept mission, right, that'll go to the list. That'll go to the grid, right here.
For example, another thing that we can do is like maybe the user can erase the mission to select another one, for example.
1 second, man.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like in this flow is I want a creative mission. I hit that. I go to this list to see the creative missions available. I click to see more detail, and I'm like, all right, cool, I want to do this. I hit accept. It comes here. The box is filled in with yellow, so I know it's one to go create later, to complete later. Or I hit no thanks, and I just come back to the list, and I continue shopping. And so we could do it in, maybe it's like, progressive disclosure, like a tray, like you hit on a mission and it opens up. And so you don't have to go from detail to list, detail to list. There's different ways that we could do it. And I would say for MVP, we just prioritize based on how easy it is, because that still completes the user story, right? As a user, I want to choose a creative mission. So I have flexibility on which mission I complete. And then the acceptance criteria is user sees a list of creative missions. User can view detailed information about the mission. User can accept or decline the mission. If user accepts, it goes to the mission, to the, whatever we want to call this. And if the user says no, they go back to the list of creative missions. Yeah. And then from a UX standpoint, you can sketch a couple of options probably pretty quickly on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, and then Sandra can say, hey, this one's a lot easier, and then we'll start with that. Because what I would like to do is for Sandra to propose solutions based on how easy they are to implement, and so we can prioritize, right? Where it's like, hey, this works, and then, hey, this matches what Kevin wants to do from a UX standpoint, and Santiago, and then it's like it progressively becomes awesomer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
There's more stuff we can talk about if everybody isn't completely fried. But if you need to go to the bathroom and grab a coffee, which I need to do, then because there's a few more things that it would be good to talk about. No, let me take that back. This is a lot of information to consume, so we'll leave it at this.
If we can maybe make another meeting in the afternoon, for example, because I have one meeting in the work at work, so I have to go.
Yep.
Uh, what do you prefer, or do you want to continue with the team? And
No, I would say I'll finish up this diagram a little bit and share it with the team on WhatsApp for feedback.
okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Well, and then we have the video as well. And then I have some other things that I need to do, and then maybe we can get back together at like 3:30 or 4, and I'll let you know. Whatever works for the team. And what I'd like to do is, for this flow that we've talked through, is look at the level of effort, and then we can prioritize the work, or work with you, Jorge, on the prioritization. And I could just make sure that the user stories and acceptance criteria are clear. And Jorge, it's pretty clear, yeah, where we arrived. Sure. Okay. How about required missions, optional missions? Yeah. Or boring missions and fun missions. But yeah, like.
But we can make like an effort to make these missions, like the board one, for example, more entertaining. I think with design thinking we have like a toolbox to break the box instead like making a normal interview to make a focus group, for example.
To do
Make
what?
things like a focus group, for example,
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
to make the task a little bit funnier maybe or interactive, but maybe the term. So yeah, I think we can pull it out.
It's a mix, right? And I probably shouldn't. The reason for using the term quest. Well, so first, I understand the confusion. Terms are confusing in Evoke in general because we've used so many. The value of calling it a quest is it's like a side quest in a role-playing game, and it allows us to make it very easy to say, once you've completed all your missions, submit it, and the mentor will review it. And while the mentor is reviewing, you can still complete quests. There's no like time constraint on quests. We just have complete control, and so it makes it very easy for us to, once we explain it to somebody without that person being confused by the terms that we've used in the past, it'll become easier. Or that's the hypothesis, I should say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you can test, Kevin, you can test, we can get feedback from everybody. Does it make more sense to say required missions, optional missions? You can do optional missions anytime. Missions and quests, you can do quests anytime. Whatever the right term is.
Yeah, I think for the systems, I think like the optional and the other one is more familiar because we can see like quest for another category apart from mission.
Yeah,
So
but
maybe it will be a little bit problematic, maybe. But it's what do you said like a hypothesis? So
it's whatever the requirement is. There's two different things. It's easy to understand there's two different things, and that you can do one of the things whenever you want, and then the other one's required to complete Evoke. So whatever vocabulary supports that.
Yeah.
So that becomes something, to your point about what's more familiar. Like, I have no idea what the right terminology is in Colombia, but you guys do, and the users do. So it's whatever comes out of the testing.
Yeah, of course, I'm agreeing on that. It's another homework from us.
Well, and it could be that there's the other one is like, so we said quests, right? We could say challenge missions. We could say evocation missions. We could say Evo coin missions, right? That's actually kind of cool, right? Evo coin missions and Ruby missions.
Oh, that would be another one.
And like, because we have easy, medium, hard, it could be like Ruby, Emerald.
Yeah, we also can test that, like another
You know, like
currency.
whatever. Right. There's lots of opportunities for creativity there. But the most important thing is there's one type that gets reviewed by mentors that you get Evo coin for. And then there's the others that you don't get Evo coin for that are, you can do it anytime. So I would say, like, what we could agree on internally, right, is that we say, you know, Evo coin mission, there's missions and Evo coin missions. We could use that internally because, Jorge, to your point, we need language that works internally for our discussions, for our work, for conversations with Bob, with Barbara, etc. And then we need, like, what is the right language for the users, you know, for the players. And those might be two different vocabularies, two different lexicons. So, yeah. So, yeah. I would put it up for any questions before we wrap up.
Maybe I think like with the team, uh, in first place we're like trying to comprehend all the information, all this package of information,
Yep.
and maybe in the long run, in the day, we can we can make like a small meeting with more internal to get to see like these questions, because at the time I see all this information, but when I try to review them again, maybe some questions is going to arise in that moment.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know if the other members of the team have questions in that moment. So I'm going to ask them. No sé si algunos tienen, si al momento tienen preguntas o algo ya para finalizar.
Mm,
And then I have to get some feedback from Bob on it too. But yeah. So here's the next steps, right? You guys have the video. When I have time, I'll write up a couple of things on this. And I'll get some feedback from Bob and we'll discuss it later. And we'll agree on the requirements tomorrow morning after we discuss it later, and then people have a chance to think about it overnight and see if there are any issues. So, Jorge, I've mentioned this before, and it's good to know that it's different because in the US, when everybody is silent, it means like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. No, but in this case, it's more like a reflection.
Yeah.
To make some exercise of understanding this information, like what you told us in the previous experiences, like a powerhouse. So it's a lot of information we have
That's
to
right.
process.
Fire hose. Exactly.
Firehouse, yeah, that's the term. Yeah, so maybe when I talk to Jakai or Sandra, when we have like deep like chats like that, some questions that arise from that.
Yep. Yeah, and there's
So
like,
yeah,
you know, the concern I would have, or not concern, or the plan I would want is, okay, what are we doing that's custom, and what are we doing that we can use Sunbird, and how can we keep it technically doable in the time that we have, and including the time it takes to test something, etc.
yeah, I think that is important to define it. Sure. Mm.
And then based on what we know from Sunbird team at XStep, is we should be able to do it. And I think once perhaps we lock in some of the things that we're doing with the web services that are working or not working, then we can talk to a Sunbird architect and get their feedback, especially on any issues we have. Or, questions, I should say. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Listo.
Yeah. Listo.
Any preguntas for now?
Algunos tienen preguntas. Bueno, sí.
So we talk later, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So thank you as always.
No, thank you guys. You guys are great. And it's really appreciated.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
to